Welcome to the Astrology Show with your host, Kelly Fox. Each week, Kelly will give you access to the current transits that are a valuable tool which provide astrological information to help unlock the potential each of us has through our sun sign. Understanding the current planetary influences each week can help steer us in the right direction to make better informed choices. Sometimes, events in your life may seem completely random, but there is a pattern to the order of these events, one set in motion in part by you, and in part by the planets and stars in the sky and their influence on your life here on Earth. So if you're wondering what's going to happen in your week ahead, if you're going to get that promotion, move to a new city, or fall in love, tune in to the Astrology Show for guidance. It can help you anticipate problems before they occur, give you tools to cope with changes, and help you look forward to the wonderful days ahead. Kelly Fox is a professional astrologer and internet pioneer who launched Astrology.com, one of the first and most successful astrology websites. Today, her passion lies with her new site, theastrologer.com, where she brings a modern-day approach to an ancient wisdom. Please join Kelly each week to learn more about how the planets can align for you.
Hi there, and welcome to the Astrology Show. I'm your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox. And this week we have a full moon. Full moon in Capricorn, which is tomorrow. And the other big astrological news of the week, the sun moves into Leo on Friday. So the two big main events of the week, the full moon tomorrow in Capricorn and the sun moving into Leo on Friday. So, as I always do, I take a step back and go through all the astrological occurrences or influences of the week. Break that down. But the two main things, the full moon tomorrow on Tuesday and sun moving into Leo for the next month on Friday. So, with the Capricorn full moon, the overview of that is it's all about long-term planning. So anything that you want to do for the long term or you want to make a change where it takes effect in the long term, tomorrow is a good time for that. Lately I've been hearing of a lot of people who will light a candle during a full moon and set their intention, not just for the month ahead, but for whatever effect that particular full moon is having. And in this case, the full moon in Capricorn is all about long-term plans, setting long-term action, and also about career. Capricorn is the CEO of the zodiac, and so the influence of Capricorn is all about career. Career, if you're looking to change jobs or ask for a pay raise or promotion, this is the time to do that. So you might find that during this week or during this time, under the influence of the Capricorn full moon, that your inbox or voicemail may contain promising messages regarding any sort of career opportunity, and if that's what you seek at this time. Also, the influence of Capricorn is about community standing. So if you are involved in your community in some way, you're a leader in your community, this is a time when the spotlight may be on you and rewards come from your efforts. Now, of course, with the lunar cycle meaning the cycle of the moon is lunar, and each month we have a cycle every 28 days, which begins at the new moon, and this particular new moon was on July 4th, and it was in Cancer. So that's typically the beginning of something. So the new moon starts the new cycle, and that's where you're meant to set your intentions and then it builds over the course of 2 weeks. It builds up to the full moon, and the full moon is the culmination or the peak, and then the waning part, the last 2 weeks of the monthly cycle, is when things start to wind down. There's also good times to start particular things during certain lunar phases, and the waning, or the first 2 weeks before the full moon, is about starting new things, getting things going, and then the last 2 weeks after the full moon is about endings or winding things down. So if you wanted to start something new, you would do it as close as possible to the new moon. And also depending on what it is you wanted to start. So with this new moon that we had July 4th, because it was in Cancer, it was all about the home and family. So from 2 weeks ago, any new beginnings around home and family, that would have been a good time to start the particular project or whatever it is you wanted to do. And then tomorrow's full moon in Capricorn is all about the culmination or reaching the point of where you're headed. And Capricorn is typically about professionalism, career, community standing, long-term plans. People in authority is also under this domain. Authority meaning not just father figure, but any type of authority in our lives. So when it's the full moon in Capricorn, it's all about setting long-term intentions for the future, and anything around career or vocation is a great thing to focus on during this time. So with the Capricorn full moon, what I'm going to talk to you about after the break is how it affects your sign and each of the other signs. So also this week, the other big news is the Sun moving into Leo, where it will stay until August 22nd. And for the next few weeks, it's all about receiving recognition. So that's a pretty good tie-in with this Capricorn full moon, because if you're looking at your career at this time, looking to see where you fit in your organization or the type of work that you do, this is a great week to review anything around your career, not just because of the full moon in Capricorn, but also because the Sun in Leo. And the energy of Leo the lion is the symbol, is about receiving recognition and attention for anything that you've done, receiving the credit. It's your time to shine. And especially, of course, for all Leos, because this is the month coming up to birthdays for the lion. So it's a good time for appreciation and to stand out, and for all of us to be our unique self. Now, the Sun, each of the planets rules a particular sign, and when the Sun is in Leo, it is at its height. Of course, we're right in the middle of summer as well, so that in the Northern Hemisphere, so that sort of ties in with that. But really, when the Sun is in Leo, it's all about receiving recognition. And having the Sun, the ruling planet, which of course technically the Sun is a star, but for the sake of simplicity, astrologers call the Sun and Moon planets when we know that they are technically not. The Sun is a star and the Moon is satellite to the Earth, which reflects light back. So the Sun is the ruler of Leo, and as an example, the Moon is the ruler of Cancer. So the Sun is very strong at this time when it's in Leo, and it's all about shining the spotlight, receiving recognition, a nice tie-in to this Capricorn full moon tomorrow. So this is a great week to make the most of not just your career aspirations, but where do you really fit and where are you headed long term? The good energy behind that is with the sun moving into Leo on Friday, the sun in Leo is a very fixed energy. So what that means is Leo is one of the fixed signs, and fixed signs are very good for continuation or continuity. So if you set your mind to something, there won't be any distractions off the path that you set for yourself. So if you're planning to light a candle tomorrow for tomorrow's full moon in Capricorn, set your intentions around the sun in Leo and sticking to a long-term plan or path. So that this week is a great week for long-term planning, not being distracted for what you want or where you're headed. And this is certainly not about any sort of short-term planning. It definitely is about long-term plans, making the most of your talents, your personality, your experience, to have other people, aka your boss, take notice of what you bring, what skill set you have, what makes you uniquely you. Also with the sun in Leo, it's a great time for romance, maybe even surprising your sweetie with flowers or chocolates. And everybody wants to be appreciated, more so when the sun is in Leo, because Leo is the king or queen of the jungle. And the jungle can refer to anywhere, really. But we're going to take a short break, and after the break, I am going to continue with this week's planetary energies. So stay tuned.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi there, this is the Astrology Show. Welcome back, and I'm your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox. I've been talking before the break about the planetary influences this week, and particularly we have a full moon in Capricorn tomorrow and the sun moving into Leo on Friday. So just taking a step back from that, what I like to do during the show is talk about all the planetary influences for the week, and that it does exclude the moon aspects and influences, simply because the moon moves so fast around the zodiac that it makes lots of aspects all week, all the time. and it's very fleeting, very quick and fleeting. So I want to begin with actually on Saturday. It all started from there, it seems, or even last week. Let me take a step back. Last Monday, Love Planet Venus moved into Leo, and Communication Planet Mercury moved into Leo on Wednesday. So last Monday the 11th, we had Venus in Leo, and then on Wednesday the 13th, Mercury moved into Leo. So there's two quite significant shifts that went on last week, and that's where it started. So you have Communication Planet Mercury joins up with Love Planet Venus, and they're traveling together. Although Mercury moves faster than Venus, they're both at the beginning stages of Leo, where there they hook up with some other planets, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So you've got a lot of Leo energy or fiery energy going on at the moment, starting from last week. And I will talk to you about what that actually means when Mercury's in Leo and Venus is in Leo from last week. So the first one we had was Love Planet Venus moving into Leo last Monday the 11th. That was to be precise, that was at 10:34 p.m. Pacific time. That's 1:34 a.m. on Tuesday the 12th. So Venus will stay in Leo until August 5th. And so that was the start of the planets shifting into Leo with a lot of fun, playful energy we can expect over the next few weeks. And so when Love Planet Venus is in Leo, it will depend on the influence in your personal birth chart. So that's at the time you were born, where the planets were. There was a snapshot of the minute you were born, the first breath that you took, and that's the snapshot of your birth chart. And so depending on where the planets were when you were born, this is how Venus will affect you. It will affect everybody when it's in Leo, but at varying degrees. So many of us might find during the next few weeks with all this Leo energy that our love lives could be very fiery and dramatic. There'll be passionate romance. Some of us might pull out all the stops to express our warmth and affection, and we may also be expecting to be showered with adoration in return. Leo is a very dramatic sign. It likes attention, but it's also very generous at the same time. So if you're a Leo or you know of other Leos in your life, think about them with a smile on your face and how well-intended Leos are. With Venus in Leo, as it moved into Leo last Monday, magnetism and confidence will be strong, and many of us will have no trouble attracting lovers and friends when Venus is in Leo. Our social lives could take a lively turn, and there'll be lots of reasons to celebrate. Anytime Venus is in Leo, or even any of the other planets, it's always a good time to celebrate. The next few weeks we might also be drawn to dressing more stylishly and letting our glamorous side shine. Leo is regal, and there is a glamorous side to this sign. It will be important to many of us to look our best and to stand out from the crowd. And perhaps many of us might indulge in some retail therapy. So take care with that. Keep that in the back of your mind because maybe our credit card bills might be a little bit high. Leo can be quite extravagant, especially when Venus is in Leo. We might have a taste for luxury and a tendency toward extravagance. Also, Venus being the love planet, when it's in Leo, the game of love is what may excite us now. And we can win people over through our enthusiasm, our warmth, and our joie de vivre. We might have a theatrical flair, but we need to be careful for a tendency toward melodrama when Venus is in Leo, as it will be until August 5th. Could be a time when some people make mountains out of molehills, especially when it comes to love and romance. So that's Venus in Leo through August 5th. And then we also had last Wednesday, the 13th, Mercury moved into Leo as well. With Mercury in Leo, it'll be there until July 30th. And Mercury is the planet of communication. So I just talked about Venus in Leo, Venus being the planet of love. Mercury moved into Leo last Wednesday the 13th, and it's all about communication. So when Mercury's in Leo, and of course, again, depending on how this transit influences your own personal birth chart, your mind may be filled with big ideas and grand plans. Many of us might be less concerned about the details and more interested in the broader vision of what we want to create. Leo is a very creative sign, very creative, very good at looking at the broader vision and connecting the dots. So we might have confidence in our own opinions, which is very strong and maybe too strong for some of us. So we need to watch out for arrogance or getting too wedded to being right. And this is when Mercury is in Leo. Many of us might find that our mind is youthful and curious. Leo is the sign of the child, and helping us think creatively and get a fresh perspective on an old problem when Mercury is in Leo, especially when it's going to be coupled up with Venus over the next week or so, and of course the Sun moving into Leo on Friday. So it might be good to look at an old problem with the innocent eyes of a child and being open to being surprised by the wonder of it all. So also during this transit, it's warm, fun and lively with interactions. Our conversation might be very entertaining right now, and we may find ourselves being the life of the party. We've got a flair for drama and could have a tendency to embellish stories with extravagant details. This is true, especially so for the fire signs, and that's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We might express ourselves with authority and can inspire other people with our words, as long as we're speaking from our heart and not our egos. Leo sometimes can have a bad reputation for being egocentric, but it's all it's all done with good intentions, because Leo really does like to take care of other people. Leo is probably one of the most generous signs of the zodiac. So what's a little ego when you can get some generosity from a Leo friend? Also, Leo is a very romantic sign and could be front and center in our mind when it comes to romance. And many of us might feel the urge to express our feelings by writing a love letter, poem, or song for our sweetheart. And as I said, our creative energy is high under all this Leo influence, and our brilliance and uniqueness can shine through with our words, whether spoken or written. So we've got the Sun moving into Leo on Friday, and Mercury and Venus are already there. This is a great combination, a great time to get out there and have some fun. I will start with the signs. So when there's so much Leo energy going on, for Aries, it's great for romance. Taurus, the focus will be on home and family. If you're a Gemini, it's about the intellect. through learning, communication. If you're a Cancer, this is a time about money, spending and saving. If you're a Leo, this is about you and yourself and your appearance. It's a great time to get a haircut, change up your wardrobe a bit, whatever that may be. With all this Leo influence, the spotlight is on you. If you're a Virgo, pay attention to your intuition with all this Leo energy. Pay attention to your dreams, your gut instincts, your reactions. It will provide a lot of insight over the next few weeks. If you're a Libra, this is a great time to get out there and socialize with friends and acquaintances. If you're a Scorpio, it's all about your career, particularly with this Capricorn full moon tomorrow. Very much so for Scorpio, focusing on your career and long-term aspirations. If you're a Sagittarius, this is about trips and travel and publishing, any sort of dealings with anybody from overseas. If you're a Capricorn, this is about money for you with this influence of this week. If you're an Aquarian, this influence with all this Leo energy is about your personal relationships, your marriage, your boyfriend or girlfriend. This is the time to really connect with your spouse or your other. If you're a Pisces, this is a great time for you, a great week to focus on your health, your diet and fitness, your daily routine. It's a great time to start a new exercise program. Really think about your health and where you want to be with that, not only with all this Leo energy, but also the Capricorn full moon of tomorrow. So we're going to take a quick short break, and after the break I will continue with this week's astrological influences and how they are affecting you. Stay tuned.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Spiritual, metaphysical, green living, psychic, alternative healing, life coaching. Do any of these or similar terms apply to your business or cause? If so, you are in a niche market with a very specific audience. Conscious Gate PR is the world's leading conscious public relations agency. With a global reach of over 4 million and growing, we offer comprehensive media campaigns to our targeted market. Learn more at ConsciousGatesPR.com. Conscious marketing for conscious minds.
Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners and give a message from Spirit about the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, join Carrie each Monday at 3 p.m. on Vibe Nation Radio.
Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Hi there, welcome back to the Astrology Show. I'm your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox. Before the break, I was talking about all the Leo energy we have this week and next and for the next few weeks. We have the Sun moving into Leo, and last week we had Mercury and Venus moved into Leo. Mercury, the communication planet, Venus, the planet of love, and on Friday, the Sun moving into Leo. So this is great news if you want to get out there and be extroverted and enjoy life to the fullest, and more so if you're a fire sign, and doubly more so if you're a March-born Aries, a July-born Leo, or a November-born Sagittarian. This is your week. This is your time to shine. So, what do we have this week, astrologically speaking? And today kicks off the week. We start today, tonight, or even if you're on the West Coast, if you're on the East Coast, it's early tomorrow morning. But we have Mercury in Leo forming a trine to Saturn in Sagittarius. What does this mean? Well, Mercury in Leo, which is what I've just been talking about before the break, forms a trine, which is 120 degrees aspect or good, in other words, a good influence, a good aspect, Saturn in Sagittarius. This is great news for the fire signs, great news for anybody that has any planet in a fire sign, but especially good for the fire signs. So this week, work flows effortlessly from our minds to our industrious and nimble fingers. Discipline and attention to detail pay off big time with splendid results, which we may or may not see right away. Because Mercury is planet of the mind and Saturn is planet of discipline. When it's forming a trine, anytime there's a trine involved, you use positive keywords. So in this case, anything that we can focus on under this Mercury trine Saturn influence of later tonight, it's very good for paying attention to detail or digging down into something if you're researching or investigating something, needing to take action because both are in fire signs. This is a great time to really unearth something. Or if you have a big project in front of you, this is a great time to tackle it. Something you might have been putting off because it might seem too overwhelming or there's too much work involved. Now is the time to tackle something. It's a time to take a methodical approach to work tasks and utilize the pragmatic, practical qualities this influence promises. So this is all about being practical and pragmatic, but because these planets are in fire signs are very much the doers of the zodiac. They're the ones, or people with fire planets, who get stuff done. Under this influence, it's also a great time to tackle any type of administrative work. And that's because we feel much more organized and efficient than usual. And that's because of the influence or the involvement of Saturn. Saturn in Sagittarius at this time. So that's what it's all about. Saturn is the planet of structure. It's the authority of the zodiac. Saturn gives us discipline. And so when it's connecting nicely to Mercury, planet of the mind, our minds are definitely more pragmatic and logical. And I think of this aspect a lot as common sense. Not just because I have it myself, but because Mercury forming a trine to Saturn is definitely the influence or the aspect of common sense. Any sort of precision work is well indicated too, because our attentive focus on detail and the minutiae is good for this influence. Also, our perceptions are heightened and our reasoning powers are keen. Clarity of thought leads to clear and accurate communication, and our improved perception helps us find and use details that have been overlooked. This is a very good time, a very good influence for any sort of project management. Anything that needs a common sense, methodical approach. This is a great time for using this influence for this type of work. Also, studying and teaching go equally well at this time. And also, if enough of the work, but after work, socialize with people who share your intellectual interests. The discussion will be splendid and informative. This is an excellent transit or influence to use to connect with like-minded people. And especially for work, the theme this week is work because of the full moon in Capricorn, which is occurring tomorrow. But also what helps and supports that is tonight's influence of Mercury trining Saturn. So I touched on the full moon in Capricorn, which is happening tomorrow at the beginning of the show. And so I just want to recap a little bit more about the full moon in Capricorn tomorrow and full moons in general. So, of course, the full moon is always hard to miss in the sky. It's the big round luminary that shines brightly. And I did notice the full moon a couple of nights ago. It wasn't quite full at that time, but if you look up tonight, you will see the great big Capricorn full moon. Also, with full moons, there's always a slightly unusual vibe in the air, sometimes an excitement, looking forward to the future, particularly with this Capricorn full moon. There's lots of myths around the effects of the full moon. Some people think of werewolves. Folks have been known to behave strangely during the moon's full display. Ocean tides rise higher during a full moon due to the gravitational pull, which does explain why some people behave oddly, since our bodies are comprised of over 80% water. So that does make perfect sense. So sometimes under a full moon, slumber can be restless. Some of us might be tossing and turning throughout the night. There might be some vivid dreams. Pay attention to your vivid dreams, especially if you're a Virgo, because these Leo planets are in your 12th house of the subconscious. So if you're a Virgo more so than the other signs or any planets in Virgo, pay attention to your dreams and insights and gut feelings and any sort of intuition. And of course, the full moon is especially romantic for couples who want to bask in the glorious light during a nighttime stroll. So the full moon can also represent a time when we begin to see the potential benefits of work that was initiated during the new moon, which is what I mentioned earlier, and the new moon, July 4th. And then we have the Capricorn full moon. And as I said before, this is a time when we're looking at our career or any long-term plans, what we're seeking, anything long-term, and the effects or the efforts during the past couple of weeks could generate the kind of response we've been hoping for. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it certainly gives us a bit more self-esteem when our long-term plan starts to unfold in a way that we had hoped. Also, with the Capricorn full moon tomorrow, proactive attitude allows us to feel in charge of our own destiny. Capricorns are very ambitious, sign of Capricorn, very proactive, initiating, any sort of initiating or changes you want around long-term planning or career, this is the time to do it. And so there might be a delicate balance between financial security and meaningful employment. Where are you in that balance? So you may want to narrow down your search if you're looking to make a career change. It's the time to investigate further career options. So how is the Capricorn full moon affecting your sign? I'm going to run through very quickly how this Capricorn full moon of tomorrow will be affecting you. If you're an Aries, this is about career status, achievements, prestige, and authority. If you're a Taurus, it's about publishing, higher education, legalities, anything to do with overseas, in-laws, religion, philosophy. If you're a Gemini, it's about shared resources, taxes, inheritance, and insurance. If you're a Cancer, marriage, business partnerships, agreements, and rivals. If you're a Leo, this is about health, diet, fitness, daily routine, employees, pets, and being of service. If you're a Virgo, romance, courtship, entertainment, amusements. If you're a Libra, home, family. Scorpio, it's the intellect, thought, learning, communication, short trips, siblings and neighbours. If you're a Sagittarius, spending and saving money, possessions, attitudes towards money in general. If you're a Capricorn, this full moon is your annual full moon, and it's about self, appearance, and individuality. If you're looking to change something up with your appearance, now is the time to do it. If you're an Aquarian, it's the subconscious, the seclusion, the intangible, institution, intuition, and karma. If you're a Pisces, friends and acquaintances. Stay tuned. We're having a break, and after the break, I will continue with this week's influences.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment, a philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millicers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Hey America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi there, welcome back to the Astrology Show. I'm your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox. Before the break, I was talking about the full moon in Capricorn and how that affects you and your sign. Now I'd like to continue with this week's planetary influences. On Wednesday, we have love planet Venus forming a trine to Saturn. Now, Venus and Mercury have teamed up last week and this week, both in Leo. A trine is good. It means ease and harmony. Saturn is the planet of discipline and focus, and the rewards come when you have put in the hard work. This is good news for all of us, but particularly good news for the fire signs. And the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So when Venus forms a trine to Saturn, relationships, because it's love planet Venus, and finances, because Venus is the ruler, one of the planetary rulers of money. So relationships and finances are highlighted this week. Many of us will feel grounded because of Saturn's influence. Many of us will feel grounded and sensible at this time, ready to finally open that savings account or commit to another person in some capacity. That's whether romantically or otherwise. Now, whenever I see Venus trine Saturn, I think this is a really good influence for committing in a romantic relationship, even a business relationship. It is a great aspect to have. So we can begin by helping out someone in need under this influence. Make it real, like carrying groceries, doing some gardening, hanging up pictures, or seeing whatever task they need completed. Sounds sort of mundane and boring, but Saturn is about structure and about being practical. So it's like we get rewarded when we're helping others in a pragmatic, methodical sort of way. So like helping an elderly or infirm person is all the better. If somebody comes to us with a problem, be attentive and advise them with care. We make effective listeners and counsellors right now under this influence as well. But of course, Venus trine Saturn is a great influence for investments in any sort of business pursuits and for financial affairs in general. Practical needs are put in perspective and we can make an effective financial plan. At work, commend someone on a job well done and earn the respect of others, stay on task and fulfill all responsibilities. So that's Venus trine Saturn. And then, of course, the final influence of the week, which I've been talking about throughout the whole show, is the Sun in Leo. So the Sun moves into Leo on Friday, where it will stay until August 22nd. And you might find during the next few weeks, you might find yourself longing for any sort of recognition. Many of us want to stand out and be seen and appreciated just for being our unique self. I think most of us typically do anyway, but more so when the Sun and Mercury, Venus are in Leo. So we have 3 planets in Leo, which makes it more so, more than usual. We may become more aware of what makes us special, our talents, our personality and past experience, and we want other people to notice too. Leo rules the heart, and love will definitely be in the air if it's not already, with Venus in Leo. Venus, love planet, moved into Leo last Monday. Many of us might be more romantic than usual, surprising our sweetie with flowers or chocolates. We'll certainly appreciate being showered with gifts ourselves. And Leo is the royal sign of the zodiac, the king or queen. And both giving and receiving the royal treatment are highly satisfying with all this Leo energy. Leo is a very creative sign, so creative energy is strong, and it's a great time to devote ourselves to our artistic passions and to stoke our creative fires. Drama is Leo's specialty, and when the need for self-expression isn't honoured, melodrama can result. So just be aware of that. Maybe not our own behaviour, but of those around us. We need more playtime now because Leo is the sign of the child and playtime and leisure. So our inner child is calling for attention at this time. So taking some time to have fun and do something frivolous can help us recharge our batteries. Now, some famous lions. I've got a list here of Woody Harrelson, Jennifer Lopez, Sandra Bullock, Mick Jagger, who is going to become a father for the 8th time, Alex Rodriguez, Hilary Swank, J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, Mary Louise Parker, Jennifer Lawrence, Martin Sheen, Barack Obama, David Duchovny, Charlize Theron, Eric Bana, Antonio Banderas, Halle Berry, Ben Affleck, Steve Carell, Madonna, Sean Penn, Robert De Niro and Amy Adams, some famous Leos. Now it's time to move on to your weekly horoscope. And just to summarize, this week, the full moon would normally be a time for completion and tying up loose ends. However, with rebellious Uranus in the mix, some doors just won't close. Later in the week, the sun arrives in Leo, sharing creative energy. So Uranus is forming a square to the full moon. So Uranus is the planet of rebellion and the unexpected. And with the full moon in Capricorn, Capricorn's very conservative, very knows the path it wants to go down. But when you're setting your intentions and long-term aspirations, try and be flexible around that as well. It is definitely good to have a plan, but it's definitely good to be flexible at the same time, because you never know what might come up. And that's what this full moon is about, with Uranus forming a square to it. And Uranus about to turn retrograde next week on top of it all. So just pay attention to being flexible and maybe getting set on a new path that you weren't expecting. So that's the overview. Now for the weekly horoscope. If you're an Aries or know an Aries, put in the extra hours to do a good job at work, even if that means sacrificing some of your free time. The impression you make now really counts. Keep your focus and be prepared to go the extra mile. If you're a Taurus, your faith is tested now, whether that's faith in yourself and your ideas, or your faith in a higher power or religion. Turn to family members for understanding when times feel rough. If you're a Gemini, you may have to put your own needs aside in order to support or help a loved one or a close friend. Try to be the friend you would want to have. Do the right thing with a glad heart and no resentment. If you're a Cancer, negotiate carefully with your partner when it comes to time spent at work versus time spent at home. It's not only your career and life which matters, they have a right to further their own ambitions too. So what that means is work, because it's the Capricorn full moon, Capricorn's about work, but a full moon is when the sun and moon are opposite each other with the earth in the center. So Cancer represents home and family, whereas the opposite sign, Capricorn, represents career. So basically it means finding a balance, you and your partner, career and home life. If you're a Leo, the full moon helps you make a fresh start with your health and well-being. Once the sun arrives in your sign on Friday, your willpower will be strong. So it's the ideal time to turn over a new leaf in this area of your life. If you're a Virgo, this is a week when what you want to do is eclipsed by what you must, should or ought to do. Responsibilities weigh heavily on your shoulders, but a sense of humor should help you through. If you're a Libra, home, property and family matters have your full attention, and there should be good news if you are hoping to move. However, discord arises with your partner over the where, when and how of the situation. If you're a Scorpio, it pays to get yourself better organized. You've allowed work and personal chores to slide, and that could be impacting on your career prospects. It's not too late to pull it all together and get moving again. If you're a Sagittarius, are you getting a bit too comfortable? The full moon highlights your love of your comfort zone and reminds you how much you need an adrenaline buzz every now and then. It could be time to shake life up a little. If you're a Capricorn, the full moon urges you to be more assertive. Remember, this is not the same as aggressive. With family members in particular, you'll need to be firm but loving at the same time. If you're an Aquarian, aim for a quiet and peaceful week without too much social interaction. You need to rest a little while. Loving energies are picking up toward the end of the week, so romance may blossom if you're single. And finally, if you're a Pisces, making a difference matters to you and you'll want to donate to charity in some way. Better yet, give your time or expertise rather than your money. Find causes to support which mirror your own life values. So that's my weekly horoscope advice for you and your sign. Now, thanks for tuning in to the Astrology Show. I'm your host and astrologer, Kelly Fox, and I look forward to next week's show where I'm going to be talking about compatibility, sun sign compatibility. Who do you connect with? Who do you love? Who are you friends with? Who do you work well with? Find out in next week's show on compatibility. Have a great week and join me then.